And we're back. Huh. I hope that didn't cut out. Oh well, doesn't matter. So when we were last playing, which was about maybe 30 minutes ago, we had just finished the depths and we're on 2 rooms. So now basically we're looking for the 4th. So Zot's right there. Now I'm going to pick Abyss, and there's a couple of reasons why. So usually the first 5 runes can pretty much be swapped out for one another. The last 3 of the first 5. I don't know. Look, Slime, Abyss, and Vaults can pretty much be swapped out as the 3rd rune, whichever one is most suitable for your character. Slime being the second most difficult, I'd say, and Vaults being the most difficult overall. Zot requires, I keep saying Zot. Vaults requires quite a lot of effort to deal with. I have a lot of difficulty taking it as my 3rd rune. So I've recently been using a lot of Abyss and Slime. Now, the reason why I picked Abyss in this game is because I have 2 things. First, I have high regeneration, and second, I have an amulet of resist mutation. And this is going to keep my resists pretty much in check while I go into the Abyss. So this is going to be pretty interesting. The Abyss is mostly a war of attrition. However, unlike Vaults, if I get into trouble, I can teleport out, and I'm not going to land right into the middle of another 10 different guys. So that's probably why I pick it more than... Oh, I'm getting confused terribly bad. So this is kind of annoying, but it's okay. Alright, so we've already gotten into Abyss 2. And I'm going to pick up some magic mapping. Now, the thing about Abyss is you basically walk in 1 or 2 directions, and then you fight sometimes. And if things are going bad, you just teleport away. It's not a big deal. If you find something that's too dangerous, like maybe a bone dragon, profane servitors, you just don't touch them. It's okay. Not a big deal. That's why I like Abyss. Even though it seems really bad at first, it's not too tough compared to the rest of the runes. Swamp. No, Slime. It's Letter Knight, guys. Slime takes up quite a lot of resources to get. Alright, so here I can see that there's a couple of crappy enemies around me, but the thing that's mostly scary is this Starcoast Mass. I'll end up taking a lot of damage when fighting this. I'm just going to teleport away. And that's completely easy. Just get away scot-free. And notice how there's not a lot of enemies. That's because I'm regening so quickly that there's not a lot of chances for the enemies to come close. So, yeah. I'm just basically going to walk through this place, and I'm picking up a lot of magic mapping scrolls. Kind of makes me want to do Pan. But I think I want to leave this game as a basic 3-rune game, just to show people, I guess, how it works. So that was a bone dragon, and the fact that I can tab through that as easily as I did means that this character is pretty much solid. You can tell that he's very solid. He has a lot of health, he has a lot of armor, he has a lot of dodging, maybe a lot less dodging than I would hope for. I'm not sure why I forgot to train dodging so much, but it's fine. Alright, my natural healing is weakened. That Nexaquake is a complete jerk. He actually just went straight through my mute. That's unfortunate. Oh well, it's okay. I have a lot of cure mutes, right? Yeah, I have like 5. That's tons. Yeah, not important though. The natural rate of healing weakened here is going to be counteracted mostly by my cool gloves that I got earlier. Tormentor, scary but also not scary. If you play a 15-rune game, so when you first start, I guess Abyss 3. So when you first start and you see Tormentors, they're very scary because they do so much damage, right? Oh, look, where's the Abyss out? I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to go out right now. I want to get the rune, so I'm going to stay in. Anyway, Tormentors, that you think they're very scary because they tend to... Oh man, they really want me to leave. Okay, never mind, I'm just going to get the rune right now. So this is a orb vault. This is a rune vault. I can tell because these tiles are surrounded by halos, and that is one of the potential vaults. I'm in a bit of trouble here, so I'm going to summon a demon to just help me out a little bit. Okay, so I'm not intrinsically unholy on this character, so I'm actually okay with just sitting here and fighting these guys out. It's kind of funny because I'm a Kleb, which is the god of demons. So yeah, that's already this game done. Like basically, this whole game's done. I know that there are portals to the north, and I'm just gonna head there. And I'm assuming one of them will stay. So yeah, right now, that was pretty incredible. Let's see. So in Depth 5, I entered the Abyss at 50k 800 turns. It took me about maybe 1,000 turns to get the rune. So it's a very quick run, basically. I'm not sure where the... Hey, there's the way out. Here we go. Done. Alright, so I am now level 24. So I'm going to go ahead and head into the Chamber of Zot. But first of all, I'm going to pick up a Cure Mutation. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Okay, yeah. So these guys do a lot. It's just a shame. Very ugly things have very high damage variance. I don't know why. Alright, so all my regular stuff is gone. I'm still resistant to electricity, so it's fine. Let's look at resist fire. Fire. Okay, so here is the main issue. I don't have fire resistance. Now, I'm going to take a look at my inventory. I have 4 potions of resistance. That means that potentially I have 4 realistically safe Zot. Orbs of Fire, sorry. So, let's just kind of push our luck a little bit and just run into Zot thinking that we can take them on. Let's pretend that Orbs of Fire don't exist, and when their time comes, we'll deal with it. I think that's probably a good approach to take. I know that I talked a lot earlier about thinking ahead of the game, but it's kind of a mix. You wanna think about the game, but you wanna just hope. Sometimes you just hope that it doesn't happen. I'm well enough prepared that I can take one on, but I don't want to think too hard about using my resources. There's a good point brought up in the comments, surprisingly. I didn't think that anyone would comment, but someone did. That's awesome. I don't have his name right now, or their name. S something. Okay, I'm sorry. I know, I suck. So this is what I mean by the draining guys. I talked about this earlier with the Hungry Ghost, I think in part 2, maybe? Something like that. Yeah, so in Zot now, these guys actually... stasis. Maybe I'll keep it on. So in Zot, these guys actually... These death cobs, they used to be pretty useless, and now they can just drain your hunger like crazy. So if you take a lot of hits from them, you end up taking way more damage than you need to. Okay, I'm gonna make myself a kill hole here. In Zot, making a kill hole is not a great idea because a lot of enemies have breath attacks that are really powerful when bounced against a wall. But it's okay this time, thankfully. Let's drop the poison resistance because I'm praying that one of these is a resist poison. They weren't, but this one is a cloak of magic resist, so I'll take it over the 1 extra AC that I'd get from having a +2 cloak. Now I don't need the Axe of Freezing anymore, and there's nothing really to identify, so I'm just gonna take a look. Stasis is good. I'm gonna keep the regeneration on, actually, rather than the stasis. Sorry, rather than the Cure Mutation, and the reason for that is mostly because I don't need Cure Mutation, Resist Mutation until I see an Orb of Zot. And once I see an Orb of Zot, it basically means that we're in serious mode. We're going to be considering all our options. We're going to play a bit slower than usual. Like most of this game is just being straight tabbing, just not really any difficult parts. Well, this is kind of difficult, but not really. So I'm basically just stair pulling now. This guy's corroded me, but he's not too strong, I think. I hope he isn't. He's not. He was tanky because he had a vampiric glaive, which is, I guess, reasonable. So I'm gonna, again, keep looking for... I'm gonna wait for this poison to come out because it makes weird prompts. I'm basically looking for a cloak of poison resistance, like this. The magic resist is fine and all, but the only thing that I can think of that would be dangerous as a hex against me is maybe paralysis. Confusion I can cure. Actually, yeah, confusion I can cure out of. Paralysis is the only one I can't. Now, that's an electric golem. These guys are considered to be basically the third, now the fourth, I guess, fourth strongest enemy in Zot. The third one is the Death Cob. Oh wait, no, hang on. Okay, let's start from the top. The first one is obviously the Orbs of Fire. Those guys are the most dangerous. The second one is maybe the Ancient Liches, but those ones are variable. I've been one-shot or two-shot by Ancient Liches before, but I was admittedly playing like an idiot. I was not paying a lot of attention to my surroundings, and I got killed. I should have known. So you got Cursed Toes, those are really dangerous. And then you have Electric Golems, and you have Berserk Orb Guardians, but those don't really count too much. Because they're a bit niche, and they rely heavily on just being a combo thing, kind of. You need to have two enemies, like two different types of enemies in your line of sight. So anyway, so Electric Golems were pretty scary, but because I think I tabbed through it, right? I don't know. Man, my pack is really full right now. Invisibility I'm going to keep just for now, and I'll show you why, I guess. I mean, it's not really like an amazing thing, but if you come into this situation where there's a lot of guys, you can actually just invis, and Draconians can't see invis, and apparently neither can Death Cob, so this is the hard counter to that. That's actually really good to know. I didn't know that. I only used it for Draconians, so maybe invisibility is the way to counter. Okay, so straight up, I know for a fact that this Moth of Fire needs to die. He needs to die. Otherwise, I'm going to get utterly destroyed by Berserks, like so. I'm actually going to move to a different staircase. I know it seems a bit pedantic, but I don't want anything to do with a Berserk Gold Dragon, even if. Okay, first things first. I need to get out of here. What did I take? I took no damage so far. Alright. Now, I'm going to haste, and I'm going to just strike. I'm going to pull this guy up, and let's see. I'm going to see how long I can tank this guy. Now, understand that my anti-magic is actually cutting its DPS by ridiculous amounts. I'm tapping very slowly and very methodically, and I killed it. So again, anti-magic is amazing for Zot. In the last part, I really heavily endorsed it, and I guess this is like the best reason why I endorse it. Anti-magic just does wonders against enemies in Zot. Particularly the Orbs of Fire and Ancient Liches, which are realistically the most dangerous ones. I guess Cursed Toes also get messed up a little bit. I feel like this weapon could be swinging harder. It can. You know what? I'm not gonna care about turn count too much. I'm gonna go get it. I think it's a good thing to get, so I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna get some enchant weapons. I'm gonna make this a +9 anti-magic. So you can kind of see here that my DPS is not that great with this thing against melees, but at the end of the day, I'm still killing them. I'm not struggling in any way to kill them. It just takes some more time. So this guy had an enchant Battle Axe of Venom. I don't really need it. Okay. Man, of all the things the shapeshifter had to shapeshift into, it chose a moccasin. How great. So this is an 8 anti-magic weapon now. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab this last one, and then I'm gonna return to Zot, and hopefully we're gonna win with this character. I'm fairly happy with the fact that this character was pretty much the first one that I played on this account. Sorry, on this game. The only one that I did earlier was a HoGl Berserker that I chose just to kind of test the waters. I forgot to delete him from the morgue, from the logs, so you might see him in the high scores here. Yeah, I was just doing that for recording. Or maybe I died. You'll never know though. So again, invisibility. Pretty sick. I'm just cutting through these guys like crazy. Now I'm in a dangerous position. And this is kind of where my evocables come in handy. So as you can see, I've got evocations up to 12. That's enough. I'm gonna start spamming some of my stuff. So first things first, I get the shadow one. This stone one, it's the least useful, but in this case it's actually alright. And I'm just going to keep fighting. I noticed that none of these enemies are actually doing a lot of damage to me. I'm corroded, but I'm not too badly corroded. Obviously it's not optimal to do something like that, but I'm getting a little bit cocky because it's pretty late at night. Um, +5 ring evasion, how nice. They decided to give me even more evade. So that's really good. Right now I'm sitting at pretty much 18, 17 evade, and instead I end up getting 28, so that's actually awesome. Okay, brand weapon scroll. I'm gonna change this. That's a poison, see? Yeah, this battle axe is now useless to me. And the enchant weapon scroll pops up just far too late. That's okay though. It would have been nice, but I don't need it anymore. I have a +9. It's as good as it's gonna get. So, in terms of this character, I think that he's very solid. He doesn't really have any weaknesses. There's no like at range he does okay because you know you can walk around corners, you can use evocables to close the distance or maintain it. And at melee he's just a beast. He doesn't die to like pretty much anything. You saw me take that orb of fire just completely apart. I dismantled it. And these guys are not too much of a threat for me currently. We'll see if they go berserk, if any of them go berserk, and then I have to like fight like 10 berserk ones. But for now, it's not too bad. They're breathing flames on me. This is why the kill hole's kind of bad. But I have a lot of regen, and I have a little bit of RF. So, alright. So this is one of the situations where the kill hole is actually really good. You see that summoner? None of his guys can hit me, and he can't summon extra guys without. And they don't. Even if he does, they do nothing. So. Alright, so this is the kind of issue I was talking about with the Berserk Draconians. I don't know if the Ghost Moth can Berserk when they're out of my line of sight, but I'm hoping they don't. Maybe they just didn't notice, who knows. So my dodging is at 17, and I'm sitting at around 20 evade. So with this character, okay, I'm getting a lot of bolt spells thrown at me. So this character is pretty solid in terms of defense as well. He's got almost maxed fighting. I think, yeah, it's about a max out. It'll max out by the end of the game. Actually, I'm going to just pump it. Just no real reason. I just want to be a Conqueror. Is it Conqueror? I think it is Conqueror. The title you get for getting 27 in fighting. Okay, so Moths of Wrath are an interesting enemy in Zot. They turn non-threats into okay threats, I guess. Sometimes they, in the case of okay, well that's why we kept the resist mutation on, because that happens. I'm being a bit silly. I should really use my buffs. So I'm going to haste and I'm going to resist. So I have RF++ now. And hopefully that'll keep me alive. The anti-magic is pretty sick for taking apart this guy. And notice that like he was casting bolts, fireballs and like bolts of fire and stuff at range. But then the second I started hitting him, he just kind of stood there and did nothing. That's the advantage of having anti-magic. They can't do anything. Amulet of Rage is not important. Not good right now. Amulet of Wand of Magic Darts. While I think it's one of the highest DPS wands in the game, I can't afford to use it. It's just too risky. Magic Darts, they're very scary missiles. There's a lot of enemies in here. I kind of want to open it. I'm not going to. That's dumb. So this is a very high level strategy called, you know, not wanting to die. And yeah, look, in all seriousness, I never open rune doors. I just don't. I make it a rule of thumb. Just if you see a rune door, don't open it. Oftentimes, it's more trouble than. There's a reason why it's ruined, basically. It rarely is just for trolls. Just like they don't just add rune doors for no reason. They actually add it because a lot of the time the threat in there is either out of depth or really specific, and you don't want to open it. Basically, like there might be a panlord in there. You don't know. You don't know at all. But there's probably like 10 different draconians in there. I don't want any of that. Like, there's no reason to risk it. So this is my method of tackling Zot. I don't think it's a particularly amazing one. I'm sure there are better ones, but this is how I do it. I just basically use E, auto exclude, and I just block this entrance off. I can auto explore around here, and so that clears out about half of Zot. Now the next issue is basically clearing out one of the lungs, getting to this orb, this spot here, where the orb is, and then running back down through the lung, like so, and just running for the stairs. And the main thing that I think about Zot is that getting through this area, this particular like chamber, is the most difficult part. It's basically stabilizing. Stabilizing is the most difficult part in Zot 5, I'd say, because right now I have no. The chambers are all full. I don't know what kind of pulls I'm gonna get, like in terms of like who's gonna notice me. It could be like 3 ancient liches notice me. So yeah, right here I'm not even gonna try to go through that alarm. I don't want to lure anything out that I don't have to. Honestly, an alarm trap is probably worse than a Zot trap in Zot 5. Mostly because an alarm trap will wake up the whole of Zot 5, which is not worth it in the slightest. Okay, so this is a very basic like lure retreat kind of strategy. I don't really have anything that I don't want. You know what? I'm just gonna turn auto pickup off from now on. I don't really need it. Okay, so this is a ancient lich. I'm gonna stand right here and I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna poke him. So what he did to me was he cast a spell and he shot a icicle, a bolt, a nice bolt at me. I'm gonna drink a haste. Okay, so he confused me. I'm gonna heal, cure out of that. I'm gonna get a resist, and this should be okay. Now, I would normally never try to fight 2 enemies at once, but again, because anti-magic has basically drained the life of that lich, it's made him useless as crap. I'm not too fussed about fighting him. Alright, so that was a ghost moth. He died very uneventfully. That's good. Alright, so there's another one. I'm not even going to bother going for the seed invis. I'm just going to be an idiot like that. And now I'm going to potentially die. I won't, but I'm going to pretend I am because that helps me think more clearly. It's really good to assume that you're dead in these kind of situations. I know it sounds really stupid, it sounds really dumb, it sounds really like anal. Okay, so this is exactly what I mean. Getting this many enemies around me is so scary. And for some reason my blink scroll didn't work the first time, so meh. I got petrified by the lich, and that nearly cost me my life, I suppose. Somehow, but because my character was built so solidly, he wasn't going to die from something like that. But say a character had like 30 less health, maybe, that suddenly becomes a really dangerous situation. Curse toes, don't like them. Gonna try something out. I'm gonna use a scroll of silence, and I'm gonna see if he can actually. Okay, so the curse toe can actually hit me, can actually use his stuff in silence. I assume that means he's a demon. But it's okay because anti-magic still kills him, even if silence doesn't. So again, anti-magic is the best for a 3-room game. Actually, technically, it's the best overall. No, it's the best. It's the best Zot killer for a non-mate, for a no spellcasting at all character, I'd say. Obviously, there's like electrocution to contend with it, but meh. Alright, so I'm pretty excited. The game's about to end in about maybe 10 minutes. So, for a HoGl Gladiator, this is an alright turn count. This is an alright run. I'm tabbing a little bit dangerously here because I know that everything behind me has been cleared, and if it hasn't, well, that's my fault. So I was a little bit more dangerous than I had to be, just a tiny bit. I could have probably like lured them all the way back, but honestly, it's not a big deal. Okay, so I hit level 27. I just put another point in Dex. This character is insanely tanky. Like, he's got max health, 273, as I said before. Fun fact, trivia, cool. He has 45 armor and 30 dodge. He has a +9 battle axe that he has min delay, and he's getting more armor and dodge. So this guy is pretty strong. Let's pick up the orb, and let's get out of here. And it just as a side note, I guess, I don't know why I'm doing this in like the most exciting part of the game, but look, hey look, it's a panel. Alright, see you later. Yeah, I don't know, the orb run is fairly uneventful most of the time. Sometimes you get like really crazy things like this happening, where just stuff goes wrong, but then you just walk away, and it's okay. I'm just gonna ignore them. Yeah. So, anyway, there might be a bit of delay between my inputs and my voice. I don't know why that's the case. Yeah, see, so before I said I'm gonna just look at this staircase. Naturally, I went up that staircase because it was the closest one, but it actually was the one that was really close to the 3 sets of upstairs. So I made a good choice somehow. I wasn't really paying attention to it, but yeah. There's no reason to fight those guys. I'm just kind of doing it for fun, being a bit cocky. It won't get me killed though. I doubt it will. If it does, well, it's my fault. I have no one to blame but myself. So this is the remainder of the orb run. It's kind of just cruising. It's pretty chill. A lot of players. I really enjoy this part of the run. Watching new players do it for the first time. It's really exciting. It's intense. You don't know what's going to happen. You've never seen panels before. It's pretty amazing, you know. And you always get that feel like, oh my god. Hey, let's go back to the temple. Let's see what's there. Well, there's dudes over there. Who cares? Hey, look. So this is the temple. I picked McLeod. This guy. He's pretty cool. Yeah, and he served me quite well, to be honest. Very happy with my choice. It was a very solid one. Buckwara would have done about the same, but honestly, this again, jeez, this god choice, the one with a lot of health, it was a good one. It got me out of a lot of situations. I didn't use a lot of his skill stuff, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, Dungeon 1. Okay, so that's an Hell Sentinel. I consider these worse than Orbs of Fire. So I'm gonna teleport, and I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna heal, and I'm gonna haste. Like, I'm actually gonna die. I'm so scared. Okay, good. Let's put the Ring of Regeneration on. So that was probably the most difficult encounter of the Orb run, I guess. Okay, well. There we go. Yeah, there's the Hillock Berserker that quit the game. So this is my first game that I've completed, I guess, on this channel, and I'm pretty happy that it came out so easily. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna do some post game like morgue analysis, and what I think this does is you can feel free to just like close the video. I've been talking for way too long, but for me at least, I think this is a really cool thing that I do. Not cool, but it's a good way to learn. I go into my morgues that I've won, and I just kind of see what's happening. You can do this to other players' morgues just as well, and you can learn a lot of things. So let's pretend that for a moment here, I haven't played this character. This is someone else's character. This is Demise from Oceania, which is Australia, but the alternate Demise in a different parallel universe, and I don't know him. So I'm going to go take a look at this character, and I'm going to judge how good he is. So, first of all, a Hillock Berserker, Hillock Gladiator, champion of McLeod. He's level 27, and he's got maxed fighting. So we take a look at his, I don't know if you can see the mouse, but I'm hovering over the battle axe right now. So you can see that he has a battle axe of anti-magic, and he has a +10 plate mail of RF. So immediately, imagine you had the old way of thinking, and I didn't explain to you why I thought the plate mail was good. You'd be like, why does he have a plate mail? Why doesn't he have a fire dragon armor? Maybe it didn't drop for him, but the thing is, I have a +10 plate mail, and it's RF. That means something. That's important. The other things that are cool that you can note, but they're not really important, is the fact that I have these awesome gloves and these 2 amazing rings of evasion. These are awesome things, but they're not decisions that I actively, like, that this player actively took. This is just good loot, right? So you got to kind of separate out what's good loot and what's good decisions. So right now I've got good loot, and I've got an interesting decision in my plate mail armor. So what you can take away from this is just the fact that, well, hey, he's got a plate mail. He hasn't got fire dragon armor. Maybe it's not that important to have fire dragon armor. Obviously, you don't have to agree, but that's it, you know. you can take a look at his skills. This is a very straightforward idea. Look, he's got 27 fighting, he's got his axes at min delay, he's got armor and dodging. And then you just consider, why does he have this much invocations? And if you think about it for a little bit, it makes a lot of sense. McCleb is an invocations-based god. He requires a bit of invocations just to get his hostile demons failure rate thing down. And his conjuration things that no one really uses also scales off invocations. So it makes sense that in the off chance that you require a summon, you don't want him to be, hostile. Especially because it costs your own health, and the demon that you're summoning is probably a tier 2 or tier 1. An executioner that is not on your side is a dangerous guy. You don't want him. And then the interesting thing is that he just has 12 evocations. And 12 evocations is explained, you can explain it with the miscellaneous part over here. Now this miscellaneous part, you can see Stone of Tremors, the Vial of Floods, the Fan of Gales, Lamp Fire. Now, this is just making sense. Makes sense. He's using his skills to get himself some panic buttons. These are very potent panic buttons. And I guess you could learn from that as well. Now, all this stuff is kind of useless. This is useless. This is useless. This is all useless. This is just... Okay, so here is kind of a part where you can start learning. I don't think that it's that important. It's a bit too specific. But you can kind of see what's going on here. So, the unfortunate thing is that the skilling here doesn't work that well in terms of just telling you what the skills are. So, like, it doesn't tell me that I'm training axes and fighting and armor and in what ratio. It's just telling me that I'm leveling up. But you can kind of see the the trend of what's happening here. I'm training armor, I'm training fighting, I'm training axes. These are some fairly basic things to note. Obviously, skilling is different. A lot of people will tell you to just go 100% into your weapon until it's at min delay. I don't do that because I don't think it's that necessary. I'm okay with not using min delay weapons, or at least not like immediately min delay. Okay, so this was that cool Joseph thing. I didn't actually. It doesn't explain very well how insanely difficult this fight, insanely scary that fight was. But you can't win, you can't watch, you can't get everything from this place. You can only get some things, and that's an important thing to take away. There's limitations of using this method to study people's games. Okay, so now, I guess you could say that. Where is it? Ecumenical Temple. No, that's fine. Okay, this is all basic stuff. Yeah, this is all basically. You can continue doing this. You can see here this big spending spree in this bazaar. You can kind of see what I'm looking for. On a character that's already strong, I'm looking to find more things to make my character more safe. That's all I'm doing. So that's a good piece to take away. Shoals, you can see that I took very little time to do it. I guess you could take that away, but it's not that important. Like literally, like this whole part is Shoals. That's it. This is Spider. This is Shoals. So it actually took me a very short time to go from here to here. I think it took about 8k turns. That's okay. It's not the best, but it's alright. Alright, so vaults. Yep, that's interesting. That's interesting. Elf, I did a little bit. It doesn't explain why, but I just did a little bit. It's okay. Depths is fine. Abyss, this is pretty cool. The fact that I got out in like pretty much maybe 1,000 turns, 1,100 turns. That's pretty good. That's a very quick run. And yeah, you can see here. This is one of the most important parts. This right here is telling you, at least now, I suppose. This part right here is telling you that I killed everything I saw. I did not try to fight. This here, say noticed, killed, it means one of two things. Either I broke line of sight and I killed them one by one, or I just fought them both at once. The turn count suggests that I fought them both at once. This is not a good thing. So you should be laughing at me. You should be hating on me for doing this silly thing. Okay, either way, it doesn't matter. And here is the opposite, I guess. So it's not important. Okay, it's not important. Never mind. My bad. Now, this is the most important part, actually. This is the part where you want to read. This is the best part to read. This will tell you exactly what the hell I'm doing and why. So this is the war axe. This is the thing I started with. I moved back down to a hand axe, so that means that I probably found a good brand, and I did. And then I moved to a battle axe. And notice how there's no executioner's axe at all. This means that I didn't find one. I just straight up did not find one. Minor destruction I used like twice. That means it's not very much used. Leather servant I used it in 13 to 15 range. That means that I used it around lair. That's pretty good. That makes sense. I'm using it in the lair to get me through the mid game. Greater servants of destruction is the one that's the most interesting. It's at 18. So I use it. Oh, goodness, I'm terrible at this. How do I get down? Okay, yeah. So I used it quite a bit more here in the mid game, and a little bit less as I went on. Here is most important to note that is all Zot 5 or Zot 4. So it doesn't make sense for me to have anything in here because I didn't use it. Because, you know, demons not really that necessary, then they die very quickly. Wands I use quite a lot in the mid game and in the late game, just to keep myself alive, keep myself buffed, and just in general just have utility. The Vial of Floods, the Lamp of Fire, and the Stone of Tremors, I've used about 8 times. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 8 encounters that I've won because I use these evokes. That means that there are 8 potentially dangerous situations. So I've used all of these, and that's a good thing. So yeah, keep in mind this is an interesting thing. The numbers look like they're not a lot, but every time I used them, they did something like very radical. This thing like actually killed like 4 to 5 draconians. All of these killed like a lich or a boss, the Vial of Floods, and these Lamps of Fire did tons of work against like a bunch of enemies. Scrolls, yeah, that makes sense. I'm using a lot of scrolls. What that means is I'm either making different decisions on enchanting. Notice how here, this is where I start pumping up my enchant and armors. I know it's really a bit of a stretch to think about, but you can kind of see when I'm enchanting, I guess. It's maybe not. I'll get back to you on that one. Potions, that's fine. Stabbing, this is only good for stabbing, for stabbers or guys that you see. How the heck did they win? How on earth did they win? This is the best way to find out. So these stabbers, you look at the numbers and they tell you how many people they've killed, pretty much, because stabbing is a kill. And then bread, and then chunks. So notice how much food I ate. I actually ate a lot of permafood. It doesn't matter. Look how much I ate. I had, what, like a total of 36 permafood, like full rations, and then like another like 46. Yeah, 46 like small ones. So overall, I ate like more food than I ate chunks, and I still ended up with how much? Let's see. I still ended up with like another 20-30 rations on top. The raw jellies do count as rations. Like, got about 15 left, and I dropped a whole bunch earlier. So yeah, this is all you can. This is a lot of stuff, and basically, I don't know if you've stayed here, but yeah, you've stayed for the rest of this video. But look, it didn't matter. At the end of the day, the take-home message is basically you can use morgues to study your games. You can improve a lot. It looks like a lot of work, but Crawl is an investment. It is a game that you play constantly, and if you want to get good, you research and you like watch YouTube videos like this one, and like I don't know, you read forums. I guess you can like look at the wiki, but it's kind of dangerous. Look, you'll find a billion people telling you why, but I'm not going to say explicitly why. So yeah, I think the recording's running a bit long, so I'm going to end it. I hope you enjoyed this series, and look forward to the next one. I think it's going to be a either a noob series or maybe an enchanter one. I don't know yet. Alright, see you later.